Hey everybody, Steve from the Zappable team, and in this tutorial video we're going to be looking at populating an application from scratch. So I have a base template application here and I've got some information that I want to populate this app with. So in this case we've used the Cafe template to bring through some of the placeholder features that we can go in and customize. So if I go into the features section here, we can see that we've got the get in touch, we've got the locations, membership card, a food gallery, the my account option, we've got custom page, and we've also got the follow us option here as well, so you can see all these in here. Now I have just made some light customizations on here and populated some text just to give the app a look and feel, but we will be going through each of these to get an idea of how to customize them and change them for the app that you're going to build, the business that you're going to build an app for. So I'm using a cafe come restaurant that is fairly local to me. It's about an hour's drive from my home, and they don't know that I'm building this application, but this could be an example if I was to go and take this application to them and say, look, here's an application I built for you, how do you feel about it? Do you want to test drive it and see how it works with you as members of staff and your team? And then you can make a decision about whether or not this is something you want to roll out to your customers going forward. So I'm going to go back to the actual homepage for this application so we can see. So here I have the Three Cliffs. Okay, so I'm going to go in and manage that one. And from here you can see that the Cafe template would already have been applied, so we would have had that background with that image across the top, we would have had those colors. So you can see I have made some light customizations here on the preview device on the right. So the first thing I would do is I would look for an image which represents the cafe or represents that business. Maybe it's something of significance in the area, maybe it's an internal image of the actual cafe or restaurant, or like I found with some local businesses near to me. In one in particular, they have a very, very old grand piano in the actual restaurant itself, and that is kind of the centerpiece of that particular business, and anybody who's ever been there knows the piano, knows the restaurant, and if you show them a picture of that piano, then that would trigger a thought of, oh, it's that particular restaurant because I know that piano. So there's got to be something of significance to that business, and it's the little touches like this that can help you cross the line when it comes to making a sale, because they can see that you've considered something, in my example like the piano, that is something that's going to resonate with them as a business and with their customers. So as I said, now in this one I've used a picture of a lighthouse because there was a lighthouse near to the actual location. I haven't actually managed to grab the actual image of the one in that locality, but I'm not presenting this to the business at this stage. This is just a demo app for the purposes of training inside the members area here. So like I say, a lighthouse is quite significant for the area, and so that is what I've used the picture for. Now I've got that picture off a place called Pixabay, so if I load this up, this is a great stock image site. So it's pixabay.com, and in here you can pop in something that is relevant. In this case I use something like a lighthouse, and there is the image that I used on my one. So that's the picture of the lighthouse that you see within the application. Like I say, there's lots of images on here. These are all commercial and royalty free, so you can use them in your applications for business purposes without any attribution required. Some of them will have attribution, but do check it, but the majority definitely don't. So that's the image that I've got there. So let's go back to the application. So to change the home page, all I did was go to change your home page here, and then I've navigated to the folder that I've got set up with a number of the images that I wanted to use within my application. So you can see the lighthouse one is here. I've also got an image of the actual location itself, the business, and I've got an image which is a view from that premises itself. So if you're actually sat upstairs in this cafe and restaurant, that is the view that you would actually get from the window. So I've chosen that image, and all I would have done is click OK, and that would have added that image there for my app. So the localization settings, as this is a UK business, then I'm going to choose the GBP as the currency, and the language is going to be English. So I just need to find English in the list. Okay, and so I've chosen British English, And the font family, I'm quite happy with the one that the template comes with, but if I wanted to change that to something different, then I can just expand the box for choose your font family and then pick one which I can use within the app. So I think the default one I'm probably going to use is Nonito, and choose that font and then allow that to load. And yeah, you can see it might not have changed. I think that's the one that I used originally in the template. So you can see that those fonts have changed. Let's just update and preview to make sure all the changes are pulled through. So that's the first kind of section here. Now, as this cafe restaurant is one that is close to the sea, I've customized the colors here on the menu to be kind of aquatic type colors. So I've gone for like a light teal and maybe an aqua blue, and then for the text itself I've just kept the text as black. So to do that, we go to the Colors tab. And there will be more elements that we may need to customize in this color section as the app build progresses. But the basic ones I want to look at, because we're using a template and we have some of this information populated already in terms of this menu that is accessible, I can customize those right out of the gate to give the app a good look and feel that is going to be representative of that business. So on the home page, we can see we've got background and image, and what we want here is underneath some of these here. So let's go there. So the home page, we've got, like I say, the background is what we see behind these menu items. So as I said, I've gone for this sort of light teal aquatic blue kind of color, and I think the lighter color works on here to kind of complement the background of sort of sea style image. So I'm choosing that color. I've gone for a dark border to make sure that it's clear which one of these is going to be an item. And then the image icon itself, you can see these down the side. I've chosen a sort of a darker color for that, which matches the border. And then if we go into a particular feature within this, you can see with the header options here, if I go into, let's say, Get in Touch, you can see across the top here we have the Get in Touch text. And this background color applies to that section, as does the border, and then we can see the text color here. So I've customized that at the moment just because I like to have the color flow through as much as we can out of the gate. So we'll come back to the color panel when we need to shortly. When we start customizing some of the features inside here, we'll find that we might need to edit the card, we might need to edit the list, maybe some of the buttons. The button was the only other one that I did change at the start here, which is button positive, which is the one that's used by the form. So if I go into the Get in Touch thing again, you can see that we have this dark sort of blue color on the button with a black border and a white text on it as well. So button positive is the one that links up with the form here. So let's go back to the features and start looking at how we can populate those. So the first one we're going to have a look at is going to be Get in Touch. It's using the form feature, which can be found under Contact, and I've gone in, I've renamed this as Get in Touch. To rename them, you just click the little pencil icon and then you can go and change that to whatever you want, and whatever you put in this section here will be what displays on the actual menu within the app. Now I've created a basic form, and if we open up the form feature here, you can see. So what I have first of all here is an image. Then we've got a name, email and number field, and these are all set to text inputs. Okay, and then the final one then is your message, which I've used as the type text area. So when you're adding your form fields, if you look under the type option here, you can see you've got some formatting elements at the top, and then you've got some input elements on the bottom section of it. So you just pick the ones that work for you for your form, and then you can just add them in by giving them a label. So if we were to put in, for instance, a title section here, and we would just type in here something like, please complete the form below, and then I'm going to hit save. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this actual section here up. Just by left clicking and dragging, I'm going to pop this under the image. So you can see now that we have a section here which says please complete the form below, and we've got the option for the person to add their name, email and phone number in this section here. Okay, so it's really simple and really easy to use. We've got a great tutorial on the forms inside your members area. where it talks you through what each of these particular elements does and gives you a visual sort of appearance of what they do. And like I say, you can just have a look at which one meets your needs best for the form type that you're creating. Now, in terms of the questions for this form, this might seem completely basic, but what I have done in the background is I have got the customer's website open. So if I go and have a look at this, and if I go to the contact page, then what we can see is their very own form here. Okay, so it's name, telephone number, email, and message. So that's all the questions that they ask on their website, and therefore that's all the questions I'm going to ask on the form inside their application. Okay, so just keeping it nice and simple, using the materials we've already got access to on their website. And this is how I'd recommend that you do it as well. Go and have a look at their website and pull off as much data as you can that you think would be appropriate to have in an application that gives the customer a good user experience of that, informs them about the business, what they're about, what their mission statement is, what their message is, and obviously what products and services they offer, and then how they can get in touch or how they can access those products and services as well, using the feature base that you already have. Okay, so it's all about giving a good representation of that business inside an application, especially if you're presenting to them as an option for sale for your business of the application itself. So I'm going to go back to features now that we've got that form one done, and here we have the Our Locations. So you can see that's the second option on the menu here. So let's go in and edit that feature. Now this is a custom page, and to add one of those you just go to Content, and then you've got the custom page option here. Okay, you just click that and then you can go in and populate it. So let's go into this one and edit what we've already done. So in this one, all I've done is added a couple of sections into the app. So on the cover photo, which is the top one here, so to add that I've just gone to cover and clicked it, and then it gives me the option to add an image just by clicking the add cover button. So I've got a cover image here. It's not the best quality, but is one that is representative of that business. So if we were doing this as a professional level, we would make sure that the image is pixel perfect and not kind of blurry as this one appears to be, because it's a poor quality image off the internet. But we would get a proper one found on Google, or even potentially, if we're in the area ourselves, take a photo of this business ourselves and use a professional level quality, just like a higher resolution camera, or maybe a good photo on a phone, because cameras on phones these days tend to be just as good as the ones you can buy in, as a physical camera unit itself. So we've got the image of the business. Then we've got this text here. So people come from miles around to enjoy our homemade cakes and great coffee. So you may ask, well, where did that come from? Does that have any significance? Is that something that I've just made up? Well, the truth is this actually is on their own website. Now, if I go back to their website here, and if I go back to their coffee shop, you can see this yellow box on the side. It says, all our food is made with lots of TLC for you to enjoy. And just to the left here we have, people come from miles around to enjoy our homemade cakes and great coffee. So this is something that they've put on their own site. It has some significance. It's at the top of the page. The font is larger than most areas of font on the page. As I say, it's in a banner almost, with a picture of a cake behind. So they want you to see this, and they want you to associate this with their business. So it's quite important to them. So I've used that text on the actual app itself, because I think that seeing that on there will relate to them, because they've put that on their own website as something of significance. Okay, so for that we've just used a simple text block, which is the first one, and then we put the text in. I've centered the text, and then I've made a change to the color of the text. I've gone to make it blue. I can change this to any color just by changing it in this panel here, by highlighting the text first and then clicking this and choosing the color that I want. So as we're going for this aquatic theme, I'm going to choose the blue one and just make sure that the text is bold so it stands out. So I'll just update that so you can see just by using this. I mean, this is pretty standard for a lot of things. So we've got that text element in here now, and then beneath it we've got this. If I just drag the app down a little bit, we've got the Our Location, we've got the phone number, and we've got the website address. So to do that, what we've added in is an address section. And from here you can see that I've given it the label of Our Location. Now I could change this to something like the Three Cliffs. and that would change the text here from our location to the Three Cliffs. So I'll do that here. I've got their address, which is available on their website, their phone number, which is available on their website, and obviously I've got the website open, so I know what the website URL is. And then I've marked to display phone, to display website, and to display the address. And there's also the location button here as well, because what this will do is if the user has Google Maps on their phone, it will open the mapping system and show them directions to the premises for what, the address that you've actually supplied in here. Now the only other thing to note is that there is a latitude and longitude option on here. Now again, I've just gone into Google, I've put the postcode in, and I've asked for the latitude and longitude. So it's really simple to do. Like I say, just go into Google and put the postcode and then latitude, longitude, and the result that pops up will give you the exact latitude and longitude that you need to populate these fields with. And again, this is helpful for when it comes to using the mapping feature, that it gets the user to the right location for where the business is located in terms of where they're going to get directions to. Now the final section on this page here is the directions. So here I have directions by road, directions by train, and directions by bus. And this text box here has been populated entirely from the customer's own website. So if I go back to their website, go to contact, and here in the middle we have their directions. So again, this is text provided by their own site. It's not something that I've had to populate. It's been very easy just to highlight this, right click and copy, and then go into the application and paste it into the text field. Really, really easy to do, and that information, because they have a website, is already populated and provided for me just to be able to use inside my app. Okay, so I've just literally pasted that in there, and then I've gone to update and preview after I've saved. Okay, so that's pulled the changes through. Just hit save one more time, and we can see now that it says the Three Cliffs on here. The text has been bolded, and then we've got our directions at the bottom. So that's a simple location-based page using the custom page builder. So let's go back to the features. And now we can have a look at the membership card. So if I go into the membership card option here, now I've added one in called a free slice of cake, which requires 20 stamps. But if we're going to start a new one, let's go to add cards. And we could call this free coffee and cake. And let's say that we need a total, for this one we're going to use 8 points, and 1 point is worth, let's say, £2.50. So that means that they spend £20 and then they get a free coffee and cake slice. Let's just make sure that that's available. Then we can choose whether or not this is used only once, or if we leave it open, people can accrue this multiple times and get the reward multiple times, depending on how many times, obviously, they complete the stamps on this particular membership card. So just to cover these again briefly, the number of points. This is the number of points required in order to obtain on this particular card. And then we have what 1 point is actually worth in terms of value. So if we hover over this little question mark here, it's like a tooltip. It says, please insert estimate worth of 1 point. This amount will be used in the reporting to estimate sales. So for $10.50, please type $10.50. Okay, so in this case, 1 point for me is going to be worth £2.50, which is going to make it a total of £20 to spend in order to complete this particular card. Then we can apply our own terms and conditions. So if there are specifics that you need to cover, then you can put your own customized terms and conditions for this card in this section. Once you've got those, you can hit save. And now we have our new card with 8 stamps, which means that every time £2.50 is spent, one of these stamps can be marked off as completed, and obviously at the end then we can offer a reward for the completion of this particular card. Okay, so if I go to design here at the bottom, we can see that we do have some design options. Now by default it will sort of set to this circular one. We can change it to a square image if we wanted to, or we can change it to a sort of a rotating dial depending on the number of points. So this will fill up, obviously, depending on the number of points that they get, and once they get to full, again, it means that they've completed it. And again, this depends entirely on the type of application you want to build in terms of its look and design. So here I'm going to just choose the square cards option and hit update and preview. And then I'm going to go into the rewards section. So here's where you apply the number of sort of interim rewards on your card. So let's go to rewards here. We can add a reward. So here is where we can put in the reward name. So let's say we want to offer a free coffee at some point during the completion of the stamping of their card. So here's the number of points to redeem the reward. So here I can add in, let's say they need 10 points to get the reward. We're going to leave this open for a year. So I'm going to put in 365 days. And then in the description, we're going to put get 10 points, get a free coffee on us. Now here's where we can add some inactive rewards and active rewards. So all this is an icon. So where this icon is placed, you will see it appear in the correct section on the card, and if it's been activated, then it will already be colored in using a different sort of image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a stock image site, going to grab a couple of stock images that we can use. I'll upload those and I'll show you how that looks. Okay, so I'm on the stock site now, which is called freepik.com, and I'm picking a colored coffee image here. So I'm going to choose to download this, and I'm going to download this. Let me just double check the size. So it's 256 by 256 is what we need. So let's go back there. So download, I'm already on that page. Let's go to PNG, let's download at 256 and free download. So you can see with this one that I need to accredit the author. So I will do that on a page in one of the policy pages. We've got the coffee cup there. So that's the coloured one. Now there was also one here that didn't have the colour in it. So let's go and grab that one. So we'll go back to that link. And for this one as well, we want to download that to 256. And I'm going to download that one as well. So both of these images are now downloaded to my system. So I'm just going to open a folder and make sure that those images are inside my Three Cliffs folder. Now I do recommend, just for organization, that anything to do with a single app, you do try to keep everything in one folder. So if you ever need to go back to anything, then you can simply go to that folder and know that your downloaded images are going to show there. So if I bring this folder in, you can see I've got my coffee cups in this folder, which is called Three Cliffs. I've got all the other images to go along with it, a couple of images of cake, and then we've got some images here that they supplied themselves on their website to do with the restaurant side of things. So I'll bring that back out of the way. Now if I close these icon pages down, go back into my application. So an inactive reward is going to be the colorless image. So let's go there. Let's go into my Three Cliffs folder, grab my coffee cup and click OK and OK. And then the active reward, we're going to choose the one with coffee in it. And again, click on OK. And then I'm going to click on Save. So when the person gets to this level on the card, it's going to mean that they are able to qualify for a free coffee. Okay, so when they get to that 10 points mark, which is this one, once they get the stamps in place, they're then able to claim that free coffee. Now, the next thing to look at with this particular card is going to be the validation of the card. So this is where you're going to be able to add employees into the actual app itself, so that a particular person or a particular number of members of staff can actually validate the membership cards. So to do that, if we go to the plus symbol here, we can see that we have a member of staff here called Sarah, and Sarah is already an employee. She has her own QR code here. We've also set a PIN code for her, and if she's no longer a member of staff, we can click the X to remove Sarah from our employees who are able to stamp a membership card. So let's say we've now added John to our team, and then we're going to set a PIN code for John. and we can click on OK. So now we have 2 members of staff who are able to process the stamps on membership cards through scanning using the QR code, or to put their 4-digit PIN code in when they're actually clicking on the stamp button here. So as we're not signed in at the moment, I can't show you this, but like I say, when the person has the application open, they're able to scan the QR code and it will automatically add the points to the person who's signed into the application. So they will be able to have their points added because John or Sarah has scanned their QR code. Alternatively, a PIN code can be put in if the stamp button is manually clicked. It will ask them to populate it with their 4-digit PIN, which the user can just put in, and then that will assign the points to that. Now you can use a single PIN for a store, but what you do have here as well is when you have a membership card and you apply staff to it, you can actually see who is assigning the points to the users of the app. Now this will help protect your business from things like people fraudulently giving away points to to family or to friends, saying I'll add an extra couple of points on or something for you. Then this is the way to stop that. Now like I said, there is an option for this membership card which is under the plugins option. You'll see an option for loyalty analytics. So if I do open that in a new tab, what we can see here is the feature analytics. So we can see the customer data, and here we have the loyalty control. So this gives you who is adding the points, and you can see how many points have been validated per employee, and then we can see how many validated points for the actual the cards with inside, which is the free coffee and the cake slice, or the free slice of cake. So you can see that the cards are there, and you can see how many points were validated and the number of rewards that have been used for each of those. So this is great insights for the business to see just how many free cake slices they've given away, how many free coffees they've given away as a result of having a loyalty card for their particular business. And also when you link it to the sales volume as well, knowing how many points are required in order to have a stamp stamped on your membership card. Obviously that will calculate the volume of earnings and revenue from the people who are using the membership card as well that it's linked to. So great insights again, and you can see how effective the card can be for that particular business just in this section here. So if I close that down and go back to the application, so that's pretty much it for the membership card. The only other options you have then is to link it into m-commerce. So if you had a store, for instance, and you wanted to allow points to be accrued for purchases, you can link that to your m-commerce feature inside your application. You can just add the commerce feature, and then again, like I say, you can validate that with purchases made here. Okay, but as this isn't in this particular application, we're not going to cover this here, but we'll just come back to that in another tutorial when we're actually covering a membership card for an online store in your app. So let's go back to features. Now, what I could have done is had a look on their website, which I did, but I didn't explain that in this part of the video, is that I could go onto their website and see if they did actually have a loyalty card where you could sign up for, and then you could be emailed your copy of the card and wait for one to come in the post. But they didn't actually have anything on their site to do with loyalty cards, so therefore I wasn't able to use their existing data. But maybe this may be a business model or addition to their business model which they may not be aware of, or they may not have adopted. But now you have the ability to implement something which they could have thought about before but didn't know how to do it, and now you've got a simple solution for that business as another way of increasing the value of the application to them as a business. So if I go back to the app features again, now the next one I've got here is a food gallery, and for this I've just used the image gallery under the media tab. So I've used this images one. Now if you were populating a menu rather than just images, then you do have an option under monetization for set meal. Now set meal is used to create menus, so you can actually set pricing in there as well. So if I do have a look at this set meal one with you, like I said, I don't have this added, it's just the image gallery. So what we've got here is the ability to add content to this. So click the add content button, and here we could have let's actually put that in. So let's put in carrot cake, and the price is going to be $3.95. Here we could give a description. And then we can add a picture here as well. So let's just grab that image and click OK. So I can create, like I say, a menu doing this, but I wanted to just show off the sort of quality of their food. So you can see that they've got carrot cake, and when they click into it, it gives them a description, a price, and then there's a description at the bottom here about what that item is. But for the purpose of what I was trying to do, it was just to create some easy on the eye aesthetics using the food gallery one, which just shows some images of food that has been prepared inside this particular cafe or restaurant. And when the user on the app clicks the image, they can see a nice picture of some food that they themselves could go out and get if they went to this cafe with a booking. So to do that, like I say, in the images one, let's go in and edit the food gallery, and let's get rid of set meal. So let's go back into food gallery. As I said, this is just an image feature that can be found inside of the media tab. So we can change the name of this just like we can with any other by clicking the pencil. So I've named this as food gallery. Now I have the ability to manage the content. So I've got the 8 images that I've added, or I can add content by clicking the plus symbol. We can either integrate with Flickr and pull images through from Flickr, or if we have particular images for this business, as in most cases you will, you just click the My Images button, give the gallery a name. So we're going to call this New Gallery, and then I'm going to click here to upload my images, and then click Browse. Now there are some limitations here as well. The maximum image size is 2000 pixels high and wide, and you're only allowed to upload JPG files and PNG files. Okay, so most of your images will be those, but that's just a limitation for this feature, that you can only upload those 2 file types. So we click on Browse, and here I have the food. So I'm going to highlight them all and add all of these images to my app. So I'm going to click on Open, and here you can see that it's added all of those images. Now I can give the image a title, and I can give the image a description here as well. And I can populate that in all the boxes with key information about this particular meal. And let's just add that in. Okay, so that's all those added. And now we can click on Save. Okay, so we now have this new gallery. So when the user clicks in to the food gallery, they're shown the default one, which is our food gallery. But then we've got the ability to get them to see our food, which is obviously the new gallery is the one that we're seeing. But our food is also still there, and you can have as many of these galleries in here as you want. And all the user has to do is click on the little dots in the corner to unlock a new gallery. And when we do open the image, as you can see, it has that particular image on there for us. So with all images, we recommend, like I say, don't try and upload them which are more than 2000 by 2000 because they'll be rejected, but keep them as a good resolution, but try to optimize the images as much as possible using services like tinypng.com or tinyjpg.com to compress the images, which means that they end up a smaller file size and therefore they will load faster on the application as a result. So it gives your user a better user experience when things load quicker on their application. And that's it really for the image feature. So the other one then we've got is the My Account. Now you'll need this in place if you're using something like the loyalty card, because it needs an account to connect to, so the user will have to sign into their application using a username and password. Now the My Account one is just under memberships, so you can add that very, very easily, and there's nothing to set up here really. It just asks you, do you want to allow users to self-register? Do you want to allow users to log in via Facebook? That will need the API key configured for that. And then how do you want the design? Is it list or card? So list is where it will block everything off individually, and card will populate everything into one single block. And then we've got a commercial agreement, and then we've got a custom label here. So this is where you can add in, let's see if I go back to My Account. So I don't have anything set in here at the moment, but we've got the commercial agreement, which is the privacy policy, and then we've got this box here which says I'd like to hear about offers and services. So would you like to join our newsletter? We'll click on save, and let's update and preview that. And let's go back into my account, go to sign up. So you can see here it says, would you like to join our newsletter? And they can check that when they're viewing it. And then you have their consent then in-app to be able to add their details to your autoresponder. This is the manual way of doing it. You can direct them to a lead generation page using a link in a custom page, or a link actually using the links feature. It's entirely up to you, and you can automate that process entirely using a different method. But this is just one way that you can add them to this service as well. And I say there's nothing much more to configure in this section. But let's go back to features. And then what I have here is a custom page. So let me just open up this custom page here. So in this one, I've got some images of cakes at the top, and then I've got details of their infamous cakes lower down on the page. So this is just creating something really simple. Again, this information has come from their own website. So if I go to their coffee shop, I think it was this page, or one of the pages on here anyways, had details of all of their cakes. I think it was in the taster. There we go. So our infamous cakes, and you can see all the details of the cakes that they create. We can use this text from here. So let's grab some of this from this section. So let's copy that text, and let's go back into this custom page. Let's change the details here to our delicious cakes. Let's hit save, so we can rename that. And I'm going to add a text section. We're just going to add it to, by default at the bottom, but I'm just going to paste in that information, and then I'm going to move this text section at the top because I want this to be dominant on the page. It's the first thing that they see. So now if I hit save, and let's update and preview. So we've got this new section here now called Our Delicious Cakes. We've got this text at the top, and you can see if I scroll down here, we've got some images of the cakes, and then we've got some more text section here at the bottom to do with the cakes that they actually have in their kitchen. So again, you can populate this pretty much with anything that you want. There's lots of information on this particular site that I could use. We've got opening times if I wanted to include that. Then we could, put a really simple Monday to Friday sort of opening time, but a text on there. Really, really easy to do. Again, we could just do that using the custom page by adding something like text. And here we could add in opening times, and we just put Monday. Something like that. Let's just copy that. We could just obviously customize this then to make sure that it actually says the days. I don't know why I've done it that way around. That's supposed to be Thursday, not Tuesday. And then if we wanted to add in there again, we could just add Saturday and Sunday lower down if they're open on those days as well. So let's do that, and then we'll choose Sunday here. So on Saturdays they may be open till 12:30, and let's say Sundays they are rightfully closed. Okay, and let's just make sure that the opening times is more prominent. So let's change this from normal to, let's say, heading 2. Let's make it bold. Let's change the color of the text to blue. And again, let's hit the save button. And this could go on its own page. It can go on any about page. It could go on anywhere that you feel is right to put this information. Okay, so here we have at the bottom here, opening times, Monday to Friday, 9 AM to 5:30, Saturday 9 till 12:30, Sunday closed. Okay, so that's just a nice little thing that you can add to this particular section here. Okay, so really easy, just using the custom page. There's so many more things you could do. Maybe you'd want to give a video of the team making a cake, maybe using a stock video, maybe an actual video of the owners of this cafe saying, hello, welcome to our new application, thank you for downloading the app. Pointing out some of the key areas of that app, like make sure you sign up for a membership card or a loyalty card. Make sure to check out our cake section as this gets updated every week. Check our opening times over Christmas. Keep up to date with all the latest news that they have. Now, there are so many more things that you could do with this. I don't know if this particular website that they're using runs on WordPress. It's possible. And if so, if they had a news section on this site, then you could integrate your application with the WordPress feature and just assign the news tab, and therefore you could just put a news section in here. Just by going to the integration option, you could choose WordPress, pop in their details, and then when you actually populate this feature, there is a tutorial for this in the members area. Then you could just choose the news category, and that will be all that will show in here. So it doesn't pull through everything else, and as long as they use the default WordPress editor to create their posts, then that will work perfectly fine in this system. Now, the only thing that I've noticed here as well, which we've got tutorials for, but this Our Delicious Cakes one just has the standard image here, which is the custom page one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to flat icon, which is one that I use for images, and I'm going to just go for cake. And let's grab an image of a slice of cake. So let's grab that one. And then let's download this one as 256 and free download. Now again, this one requires attribution, so I would have to click it if I have to add that text to my site in order to confirm. So palm trees, everybody loves these things, I'm sure. There we go. So I've got that piece of cake. So let's go back into my app, Our Delicious Cakes. Now I'm going to put that piece of cake image into my file. Let's just drag that over. Now to change the icon, I'm going to click on the icon itself in the top left hand corner. Click on the pencil. Now I can change this for any one of the ones that's built into our system, or I can add my own. Just make sure that the icons are square, so equal proportion of height and width. I'm going to go to Add New Icon, and then I'm going to click on this piece of cake icon here and click on Open. It's the right size, so I'm going to just click OK. And then I'm going to choose this icon here. So that's now added that to my custom page. So I can click on Save. And I can see that that one is actually black. If I would have had used an icon which was white, let me just see if I can do that. It will automatically color it for me. So I need to be signed in here, so bear with me a second. Okay, so now that I'm signed into the site, let's go back to that piece of cake again. I'm not sure if it was that one or not. Let's just grab that one anyways. So when I'm signed into the site called Flat Icon, I can go in and click Edit. And then I can choose a color for this piece of cake. So I can pop it into that corner so that it's white, and I can download as PNG, and as 256 is the one I'm going to use. So let's bring that one over into my folder as well, which is now white. Let's go back into the features. Let's change that one, add new icon. Let's go back to the other, actually different. I click on Open. And it's hard to see because obviously it's white against white. Let's click on OK. And now let's click on that piece of cake. And now if I click Save, it's changed to white. So when we do color the icons in the options panel, it will allow us to customize that so that we can recolor all the icons that are white to give us the color that we actually want. Okay, so don't panic for that for the time being. Let's go back to features. And the final one here I have is the Follow Us. So this is using the links feature, which can be found under integration. And what I've got here is some links here to their Facebook, to Twitter, and I made up an Instagram for them because they don't have one. But to do that, all we would do is add a picture here. If you don't add a picture, you can see how Facebook and Twitter look on the right side, that it doesn't have an image here on that left side there. But as we've added one for the Instagram feature, you can see how that would work. Now, let's say that we wanted to add something like Pinterest or another social media network. Let's click on picture. We can load something up from our system. So I'm going to grab a piece of cake and click OK. And let's say the label for this one for us to reference and for the user to see on the screen is going to be Pinterest. And I don't even know if that's how you spell it, but we'll work with it. So Pinterest.com/ we put in here, making this up again, Three Cliffs Cafe. Then we could decide whether or not this opens in the app browser, in the default phone browser, or an external app. So it's usually only one of the first two that you're going to choose, whether or not you want to open it in the application itself, or if you want to default to what the user is used to using on their phone, which could be Chrome, it could be Safari, it could be any number of browsers that they use. So I'm just going to choose the default in-app browser, and then I'm going to click on Save to add this feature, or add this new link to our feature. So if we scroll down to the bottom, we can see now that we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest, and here we can see that our Pinterest logo has been added, or a piece of cake in this instance. But you can download social media icons from a number of locations online using things like Freepik or a number of other stock image sites that can support icons. Just download the ones that you need and you can add them to the site, no problem. And once you're done, hit update and preview, and then you have a base app essentially that you can be happy with to take to a potential business and say, you know, have a look around and see what you like about the app. Is there things that you'd like to change? You know, are you interested in having an app for your business? And you know, you can follow the training that we do week by week to have more in-depth sales materials and references that you can make about obviously how app development is in a massive stage of growth, and how if they don't jump onto the bandwagon now with it, then they are going to be ones that are going to be left behind. You can encourage the app to be the purpose of repeat business, so bringing your customers back, because not only do you actually have the application itself, don't forget you've got one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal here, using the push notification system, which will deliver a message directly into the pocket or into the handbag or into the coat pocket, wherever the phone is kept. It's usually very, very close to the person, and when someone's phone goes off, unless they're really fed up of their phone going off all day, then they're going to pick it up and see what that message or notification is. And if they see that it's about this particular cafe, that they were thinking about going somewhere on the weekend, and now they can see that they've got this new type of cake that they've made, and for this weekend only they're doing a promotion of you know, buy 4 coffees and get 2 cake slices free, or buy a piece of cake and get a coffee free. There's all sorts of ways in which you can encourage people to come in to the business premises, and of course while people are there, generally they will spend more than just the offer that you presented them with. So it's a great opportunity for, you know, free marketing essentially for a business to be able to use the push notification system, which is a huge plus for, like I say, for getting in front of the audience, which they already have. But sometimes we can forget that businesses are there until we visit an area and go, oh, we haven't been there for a while, let's pop in for a coffee. But if you'd have had a prompt maybe once or twice a week about going in to get a free coffee and a free slice of cake with every order of a meal over £5 or £10, then it's going to encourage you to go back to that business more and more, because they're going to be in your thoughts more and more. And if it's a nice place like this one is in particular, it's got fantastic views, it's got lovely walks, great for families and children and dog walkers alike. This is an ideal sort of proposition to get that message out there in front of them, to encourage them to come down to that area, have a coffee while they're out there with their family and walking their dog. Okay, so I hope this gives you an idea of how you can do this. Now, to share this application with your users, then, you know, or with the potential businesses, you know, initially you can just share from the publication screen. You've got a web link. So if I go to the 3 Cliffs here and expand and go to advanced settings, you've got a web app link here that you can send to the user. Okay, or what you can do is create something like a bit.ly link or a URL shortener from Google, and just create your own short link and then put that as the follow-up address. So when people use the short link, then it directs them to this where they can actually view the app on their device. Okay, so lots of easy ways to get that in front of your audience. So I hope you found this video helpful. We'll be doing more videos around this theme on different styles of application going forward, but here's one for a very simple coffee shop come restaurant, and lots of basic features that you can include to really drive up the chances of getting the app sale. And even if it's not the full value sale that you want, it's still about, in the early days, it's about getting customers in through the door for your app business to use them as very powerful testimonials going forward to accrue more new sales and more new business as a result of having already got satisfied customers using your app building service. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another tutorial soon. Bye for now.